Hello everybody, Jardine here. I'm coming at you with a bit of news. Now I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet because you've all seen the thumbnail, but about 1 week ago I had an accident training with my kama, which resulted in a tiny cut to my inner elbow. Now, I'm no stranger to getting cut. I've bled a lot in my life. However, I knew this was something more severe because the instant that it happened, I had the feeling like shoot down. I lost feeling in my lower 2 fingers. So I knew that I had done something to my nerves. I'm not going to cover all the details here. I might talk about it more in a later video. But essentially, I realized immediately something happened. So I ended up going to the hospital, and yes, it looks as though I have fully severed my ulnar nerve. Now, the odds of this happening are frankly hilarious. As in, it is really funny. Obviously, I wish it wasn't me, but the fact that I created this puny 3/4 of an inch scar, I cut the exact spot that one would need to in order to sever this nerve. I'm practically a surgeon. But yes, as I was saying, I've fully severed the ulnar nerve, meaning that I no longer have any feeling in my pinky and half of the finger next to it. And additionally, you can see, hopefully, that this finger got kind of locked into this one, and my pinky got canted out sideways. Very interesting. And for the entire first day, that I was going to the hospital, getting the stitches, I had the arm stabilized like this, so I didn't realize anything was wrong with the top fingers too. After all, I can feel them and I can move them. But it's once I got home and I tried to grab something and it slipped through my fingers that I realized something was wrong. And of course, when I looked it up, and it's very common, but when I paralyzed these 2 fingers, it actually affects the ability for you to manipulate your hand. I'm going to do matching finger things here. So yes, the ability for me to move these fingers laterally is completely removed, meaning that I can no longer do most fine tasks. It's really interesting more than anything. You wouldn't think that not being able to cross your fingers would be a big deal, but indeed, it really prevents you from grabbing anything thin. In addition, I've lost nearly all muscular strength in my fingers. I can still activate my forearm muscles, so if I can latch and pull, I can. For example, I can twist the doorknob. However, anything very fine that would just be the fingers, they no longer have strength. I'll give you an example. These little plastic clips that hold like chip bags together, I cannot pinch them. It'll physically bend my fingers out before I can pinch this little plastic clip. Now, as I said, it's already been a week since the incident, so I'm in pretty good shape now. Obviously, that kind of damage, your body doesn't adapt to it right away, so the first few days were pretty rough. I think I was feeling a lot worse than I should have. For example, for the first couple days, my arm was locked out like this, so I was literally just walking around like this all day. This is the position that I had it stabilized in when I went to the hospital, and it's also the kind of position it was in when I cut it, so my arm was kind of locked out, and I had very limited arm mobility. I still do. I cannot bend my arm more than 90 degrees towards the bicep, but I think that'll go away when the actual wound heals. But yes, during those first days, I felt very limited. I simply wasn't used to it. My finger keeps getting in the way of everything. If I write, then this stupid pinky's like slapping the paper. And if you have any wonders of how dead a dead finger is, the first night, I apparently burned my pinky and didn't even realize. The next day, I woke up and looked, and I had a huge blister on the back of my pinky. So I must like set it on the stove or something. And again, I physically cannot feel anything. But as I alluded to before, it's not as bad as it seems as far as what I can do now. I'm glad that I waited to make this video because I had a chance to record the day after it happened, and it really would have been a pity party. I would have been talking about all the things I can't do, some of the less encouraging things I had heard from the doctors. But a week in, I'm really getting used to it more. My body understands. The hand feels less heavy. And generally, I'm doing pretty good. This also is not going to keep me from doing most of the stuff I like. I'm getting a surgery in 1 week, which will have about a month and a half recovery. And then they said I'm looking at about 2 years to regain whatever I will. The doctor did not mince words. He told me straight out, this is going to affect you for life. You will never fully recover. So thanks, doc. But yes, he is probably right in that in about 2 years, he's hoping I'll have 50% recovery, and that'll be it. But even with 50%, I think I'll be just fine. Even now, behold. Yes. As you can see, I'm still in the game. Now, it's very difficult for me because of the elbow mobility more than anything. I can live with some paralyzed pinky. I don't really care. And my grip strength is frankly enormous. So it's really just the fact that if I accidentally bend my elbow in, I'm in for a pretty bad shock. And so, for example, I know that if I was holding this normally and I did some sparring or something, I know I would instinctively do some movement and just like my arm would crumple. So for now, I'm just being very careful. But overall, I can still do a good bit. So everyone, I'm going to try to bring this to a close. There's been a lot that I've thought about since this has happened, and I could talk all day. But yes, the short of it, I had an accident, cut through my ulnar nerve. Can't manipulate my fingies very well, but I'm doing okay. I have new things that I enjoy, like sitting outside on stumps and walking around like I only have one arm. That's my favorite. I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate. Anyway, take it easy, everybody. I'll see you next time.